was, I tease people sometimes and I'm like, well, I had all these crazy little people in my head and I had to get them down on paper and make myself feel better, but that's not really the truth. I have a passion for youth that are at risk, like either in foster care, pregnant teens, you know, abused children. I've always had a passion for them, and I have a passion for our military veterans. And it's kind of a weird mixture. And, you know, it's fun when I'm kind of on Facebook and talking about it. It's like people are probably thinking, why is this girl like talking about foster care one minute and veterans the next? What does this have to do with each other? And I think it's because youth are our future and the veterans protect our future. And the two just really tie together to me. And I think we as a society put labels on those two groups so much more frequent than just other people. You know, it's like you have all these children in the system that are labeled as, you know, having these disorders and these different, you know, anxiety issues and depression and PTSD and all these things. And you have our military veterans that are also, in a sense, labeled or diagnosed with these things. But the problem is we as a society are talking about it all the time, but, you know, it's a different thing to talk about it and say, you know, I want to support our veterans, or I want to support, you know, help kids in foster care, and actually doing something about it. And I wanted to do something, but it just seemed so huge. So I thought, let's write a story where my characters are broken individuals, and they are, you know, growing up in foster care or abused families, or, you know, experienced, you know, combat trauma and things like that. And I wanted to really illustrate it through a fiction novel, because I felt like that's the best way sometimes to reach people, because a lot of us don't want to pick up a dry book and read about definitions and how to do this, how to do that. A lot of us can pick up a story and read along, but really kind of enter in on our characters. And that's what really motivated me to do this. And, you know, overall, I think that, you know, all these issues, ultimately God sees us in the same light. He sees us all as His creation, and we're beautiful in His sight. And it doesn't matter what trauma we've endured and the things that we've been through in life, is that, you know, God wants us to be a new creation in Him, and to see all that He has for us in life. And I mean, let's face it, we're all broken in some way. And, you know, it's, you know, I know that there's the medical profession is there for a reason, psychiatrists are there for a reason, but, you know, ultimately I think we as a community of Christians in general, you know, we're all broken, whether we've ever had to go for medical treatment or not. And I really wanted to bring to light just the uniqueness of each of us in God's sight. And with that, I will paraphrase, because again, I don't want to give away the story, a small portion of my book, because I think that this is kind of the gist and the message in this whole story, at least in the first book, that I really want to portray. Of no life is ever in vain. You're no exception to that. As hard as that might be to believe, with everything you've been through, God creates every one of us for a unique purpose. You may have made mistakes, but you are by no means a mistake. Your life is just as much worth, or has just as much worth as every person that was ever born. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God offers you the chance to see and know your true worth, but you can only see it fully when you accept the sacrifice He made for you and accept His love and unconditional forgiveness. When He looks at you, He doesn't see your past or your mistakes. He sees you and everything He created you to be. Even more, He sees everything He has called you to be if you surrender your life to Him. And I think that, you know, that's ultimately the message I wanted to give through a fiction novel. So.